Happy Lyme's Disease Awareness Month! Is Lyme's disease literally getting under your skin and you're feeling frustrated? In today's video, I'm going to share with you 7 of my naturopathic recommendations if you are dealing with a relapse of Lyme or if you're dealing with a Lyme disease and co-infections. These are my naturopathic tips that I use for many of my different Lyme disease patients. Stay tuned in this video. Welcome friends and happy Lyme's Disease Awareness Month. I'm Dr. Melissa Gallagher. I'm a naturopathic physician and I'm a lymphatic drainage therapist. And I have, over the course of the last 12 years, worked with hundreds of different types of Lyme's disease, different types of bacteria from all over the world, literally. And my patients all come to me for a variety of different co-infections, swollen lymph nodes, and an assortment of really challenging conditions. In today's video, I want to share with you 7 of my top naturopathic protocol recommendations that I think are going to help you regardless of where you're at in your Lyme's disease fighting staging, or even if you've had a relapse. Lyme's disease can be a very complicated and complex condition. It's a disease where you look perfectly fine and very frustratingly, you feel absolutely destroyed inside. A lot of times it's accompanied by symptoms of fatigue, headaches, disorientation, dizziness, sometimes seizures, muscle aches, joint pains, organ pains that move around. So some mornings your stomach absolutely hurts. Other times you have digestive grief, gut dysbiosis, SIBO, candida, yeast overgrowth, heavy metals, extreme biofilms, immuno challenges, immune deficiencies, and an assortment of other things that I can list. Often when patients come to see me, they've seen 8 to 9 different types of specialists. They've seen rare disease specialists, folks that are combating the Lyme's with traditional protocols, and I end up getting the call when they are fed up, frustrated, and feeling absolutely run down. I first want to give you a caveat. My naturopathic practice is not singularly focused on combating Lyme's disease. I don't traditionally do a lot of the invasive type of work. That's not really where I go with my practice. I don't do a lot of IV type of treatments like IV chelation, Myers cocktails, IVIG, any of those kind of immune boosting, invasive type of treatments. That's not what I'm about. I do support them and I work very closely often with a lot of Lyme's disease specific practitioners because of a lot of my work as a naturopath, but also as a lymphatic drainage therapist. So if you're dealing with Lyme's today, I want to break down 4 of the kind of key factors that I, as a naturopath, focus on. These may be different than some of the treatment protocols you're on, or maybe these are totally new and you never heard of them. 4 things that we want to focus on. We want to focus on candida. We want to focus on the parasites. Those are really the true Lyme carrying invaders in your body. Third, we want to focus on methylation issues, which is your traditional detox process. And then we want to focus on your immunity. These are the 4 factors that I look at for combating Lyme's disease, both in the short term and the long term. Those 4 items also parlay into us resolving gut challenges, promoting lymphatic drainage, resolving your methylation challenges, and then 4th and most importantly, we're going to resolve and address biofilm. That is the most important factor in terms of what I do with my patients and how I'm able to help them get into a remission phase. So please make sure you watch this video thoroughly because we're really going to delve into the role biofilm plays in Lyme's disease management and treatment, and ultimately the remission of Lyme's disease. Combating candida is really key. This will help resolve a lot of gut issues, but often what I find when we are testing Lyme's disease patients, they tend to have systemic candida where it literally is in their blood and it's roaming throughout their body. The candida actually plays into supporting and nourishing and creating a flourishing environment for the Lyme's disease, and it can be really, really challenging because it causes a lot of the symptoms like brain fog, fatigue. It plays a big role in gut dysbiosis and SIBO. It also plays a big role in the traditional symptoms like fatigue, joint aches, headaches, muscle pain, malaise, brain fog, and the list goes on. The way I target Candida with my Lyme's patients is very potent and powerful because Lyme's is not one of those situations where individuals have a mild case of Candida. That's the reality. And so I incorporate a very potent product in my protocol. It's called Pure Gum Spirits of Turpentine. No, it's not turpentine oil. It's not the kind of thing you're going to use to clear off paint from paintbrushes, but it is a very potent, powerful supplementation, a killer of Candida. It's so potent you don't even have to ingest it. You can actually apply it topically. And some of the ways that we do that is we will incorporate 2 or 3 drops, literally. Pure Gum Spirits of Turpentine are literally not the kind of supplement where you want to enhance, where when I say a little goes a long way, I literally mean a little goes a long way. If you want a free download for how I recommend the use of Pure Gum Spirits of Turpentine, download this free recommendation guide. It's quite powerful and I know it will be helpful for you, especially if you tried Candida cleanses and you find you have a Hertzing reaction that's really intense. This plus some of these other recommendations will combat the yeast and help you progress past a Candida overgrowth. Second on my list is an herb called teasel root. Teasel root is amazing and it is something that probably you are not aware of. I wasn't aware of this until about 8 years ago when I had a continuing education course by this really cool herbalist who focused his whole practice and his life on teasel root. And the stats are amazing on it. We actually see deer eat teasel and they don't have Lyme's disease. And as the Lyme carrying ticks have basically moved from the northeast all the way down to the southeast. And I'm from Florida. They are in Florida, folks. The teasel root, we can actually chart that growth from the northeast down into Florida. So we actually can find teasel root in our backyard. In Florida, you can find it all the way up the coast, the eastern coast, and it's actually spread out. Wherever the Lyme's disease ticks are, there is teasel root in that area. Teasel root extract is great for combating the actual Lyme spirochetes and all of the bacteria that comes with Lyme. Now, many of you know not all Lyme carrying ticks carry the same type of bacteria, and we actually have more scientific testing that allows us to identify where you maybe have received your transmission of Lyme. We can actually identify the particular type of bacteria based on those regional areas. Teasel will help all of those. Third on my list is a supplement that I love. I've actually been using this for a really long time. It's called Host Defense. And they have a multi-mushroom complex that has cordyceps, it has reishi, it has everything. It even has chaga, which is my favorite fungus, if you will, that is the most potent antioxidant out there in the world. And basically this multi-mushroom defense is going to boost your immunity. Your immune system and your immune boosting capacity is going to be significant as we combat the Lyme bacteria, as we combat the Candida. We need to make sure we're giving your body all the powerful immune nutrients to support that killing component that your body is now engaged in. If you have Lyme's and you have not been tested for a methylation issue, a mutation in terms of your gene process for detoxification, you should definitely look at getting that test done. It's a methylation test. It allows us to identify, are you detoxing appropriately? For the most part, my individuals that have Lyme's disease and it's chronic and it's been something that sometimes it goes in remission and comes back, a methylation is at play in terms of the body's inability to detox and get rid of the disease, but also it prevents the immune system from reaching its optimal levels. I find that methylation supplementation, like a methylated B complex, is key because you're going to get all the nutrients you need to properly detoxify. If we're doing any type of detoxification with Lyme, we first need to make sure you have methylation issues. Second, we need to supplement with a methylated B. And this is significant. And if you are sitting here watching this video and you literally feel like you are on your deathbed or feel like you are so incapacitated by Lyme and have been to tons of doctors and you haven't really gotten that one single solution, this would be an important test for you to ask your primary to run or your specialist to run next time you see them. because simply changing and tweaking your methylation and your detoxification pathways can be life-changing for many of my Lyme's disease patients. As a lymphatic specialist, I work with a ton of Lyme patients who have extremely swollen lymph nodes. They're holding a lot of fluid throughout the body. And especially if the Lyme is moving from organ to gland, it's also moving through and in the space of the lymphatics. If you aren't familiar with the way that Lyme moves, it actually migrates through soft tissue. And it actually prefers and moves faster through muscle, soft tissue, and part of that is the lymphatic system. You would be remiss not to address your lymphatic system. Lymphatic drainage therapy, dry skin brushing, please check out my dry skin brushing download. This will help you incorporate that in your daily life. And then lymphatic drainage therapy. I'll link down below my playlist that has a ton of DIY exercises to move your lymphatics. Also, you should definitely incorporate a homeopathic lymph motivator. The homeopathic and lymph motivator is called LymphStim, and they've undergone a relabeling. You'll probably order it and it'll come to you with a blue label. It's the same manufacturer, it's the same product, they just relabeled it differently. So the LymphStim is something that is hugely potent and hugely powerful in moving and motivating your lymphatics, because as you're detoxing, as you're cleansing, as you're boosting your immunity, your lymphatics play a key role in both your detoxification process, but more importantly, your immune response. For folks that have immune regulation, immunodeficiencies, or multiple co-infections, moving your lymph is going to be impactful. Now with the LymphStim, you want to slowly work yourself up to a moderate dosage. When folks come to me with Lyme, I don't traditionally put them on the normal lymph moving protocol because they're dealing with so much toxicity and so much overload of biofilms and parasites and candida that the detox process, we want to be gentle, because if you're familiar with the Hertzing reaction, it can be toxic. With the LymphStim, literally 5 to 7 drops, 2 times a day, for a few weeks, and kind of gradually working yourself up to about 20 drops twice a day. That is a very good lymph protocol. Number 6 on my list is probably the most powerful and underappreciated aspect of Lyme disease management and natural treatment protocols. It's addressing the biofilms in your body. Now, biofilm is this really kind of unique substance. We are traditionally experiencing it like on our teeth if we have plaque. It basically is exposure to bacteria, and it's the way the bacteria engages with our body. It's a pathogenic response, and in fact, we find that the biofilms are responsible for 80% of microbial invasions in the body. That is significant, friends. That is a significant stat. And if you're sitting here dealing with not only Lyme, but multiple co-infections, biofilms are going to be in existence in your body, probably in an abundant state. And in fact, what we find, and there is tons and tons of research. I'll link to some of the scientific research about biofilms for you to read up on this. Biofilm literally creates a protective kind of barrier between the Lyme and the bacteria and your body. So what this means is individuals can undergo IV antibiotics and really intense antibiotic treatments that are ill effective. They literally don't work. They destroy the gut lining. They destroy all the bacteria in the body, good and bad. It causes the gut dysbiosis. It causes the SIBO to really kind of creep up. It supports the candida overgrowth. And in fact, because the biofilms exist, that antibiotic, regardless of its severity, is not able to work. And what is challenging with that is that you've ultimately seen the effect, the ill effect throughout your body. It doesn't combat the Lyme. And so if you break down your biofilm, it basically breaks apart that bacterial protective lining, and then antibiotics or any type of natural treatments that are dealing with immunity and really combating the Lyme, it can kill it. And so it's really important that you address your biofilm. There's really no way to test it. I mean, I would love to say, oh, go check out this lab and you can do a test to find out how much you are dealing with and how to really kind of combat it from a treatment perspective, but there are supplements out on the market. The supplement that I use, I sell in my online store. You can find it on Amazon, but it's $4 or $5 more on Amazon. So in my store, it's I think $35, $36. My online store is npscript.com/NHR. And I'll include the link in the description below. But if you go to that store, you have to sign up as a patient. It's going to ask you for a code, a provider code. My code is 6010. So that is right here on the screen. Biofilm Phase 2. This is one of the most potent biofilm reducers. It combats everything. Now, biofilms not only are involved in Lyme and protecting Lyme, but they are also involved in heart disease, arterial plaque, dental plaque. It's everywhere. It's going to be involved in your gut and your intestines, your small and large intestines. So when we're dealing with gut dysbiosis and SIBO, this is quite impactful. If we're dealing with gut dysbiosis and SIBO, the biofilm disruption is going to be hugely impactful in regenerating the healthy bacteria. So biofilm Phase 2, super, super impactful. You don't have to go overboard on its use. The recommended dosage is what I recommend, but you will notice significant differences in just the way your body is combating Lyme. Usually we see some of the changes begin to happen within 3 weeks to 12 weeks, depending on your body, depending on the type of Lyme. A lot of different factors are involved, but if you follow these additional steps to support and manage the Herxing reaction, it's going to be hugely impactful. And my last recommendation is activated charcoal. So activated charcoal is hugely powerful in removing toxic matter, removing debris, removing junk in the body. As we combat the biofilms, it helps to remove the actual Lyme bacteria. And when we're doing the parasitic cleansing with the teasel root and removing the lymphatics, this is a really good adjunct. I find the activated charcoal to be the most impactful and the least, honestly, harmful or overwhelming to your body. So a lot of times folks will do psyllium and a whole bunch of other like really intense like clay detoxing. Activated charcoal is gentle. And the way I deal with Lyme disease, as I deal with any of my other chronic illnesses that I'm managing with my patients, is I like to be very gentle and I like to be very gradual with my plans. Overdoing it, overwhelming the body is actually sometimes too much, too forceful, and too disturbing, and to be honest with you, too destructive. So those are my 7 tips. I hope this was helpful. If you are dealing with Lyme, I hope you will favorite this video so you can go to it and reference back to it. I hope I can also be a resource for you currently and in your long-term health goals. I am taking new patients on, so if you want to work with me one-on-one, I am booking virtual appointments through the week and have some evening and weekend appointments usually available. I again am so grateful for your time. And I hate that we're celebrating Lyme Awareness Month, but it is important to be aware of Lyme's disease, and it's even more important to be aware of the ways to combat it so that you can get back to living a normal, healthy, energized, and optimized lifestyle. Thank you, friends. I hope you have a wonderful, healthy day.